Happy New Year! Do you want to organise your time more effectively this year so that you can slow down and fully enjoy your life? Stay tuned to find out how. My name is Kat. Welcome to another slow living video. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell for weekly slow living content. I also have a wee announcement at the end of the video, so make sure that you stick around for that. As we say farewell to 2020 and come into a new year, you are probably one of two kinds of people right now. The first is that you're pumped for the new year, your motivational Pinterest boards are on point, and you're looking for inspiration to set your new year goals and resolutions. You have learned some lessons in 2020 and are excited to use your new perspective to level up your life going forward. Or perhaps you fall into camp number 2. You are sad, exhausted, maybe angry. You've lost a lot in 2020 and you're afraid that you're just going to keep on losing more. You're hopeful for a fresh start in the new year, but you're also worried to hope too much. Whichever the case, I really hope that these slow living ideas will be of service to you. By slowing down to reevaluate, you will save more time in the long term, which will give you more space to spend time on the things that are most important to you. Let's begin. The first thing to save time and get your priorities straight is to take a pen and paper and just start scribbling down everything in your mind. This is a journaling technique known as brain dumping and is a really effective way to get clear on your goals, untangle your thoughts and get straight on your priorities. There are two main ways that you can do this. The first is simply to write about your recent experiences and how you feel about them. I call this emotional brain dumping as I use it for therapeutic reasons, to untangle the emotional mess in my mind and heart. Somehow, when everything is down on paper, it's easier to let go and move on. The second way is to brain dump into categories. This is more of a strategic brain dump as it focuses more on goals and priorities rather than emotions. The 4 main categories that I use for this are relationships, finance, health, and faith. Start by brain dumping down where you're currently at with these core life categories, or whichever categories suit your life personally. Then, on a new sheet of paper, write out the categories again, but this time note down where you want to be at. The first things that come into your head. Whether you're a workaholic trying to slow down or a student wanting to be more efficient with your time, splitting priorities into a handful of main categories is a great way to find a healthy balance in life. By homing in on these core items, it becomes clear when you are wasting your time on things that aren't important. Speaking of wasting time, the second thing to do is to track your time, to get really clear on how you're actually spending it. Draw or print out a week calendar, segmented down to 15-minute slots, choose a colour per activity, and track your typical week. There's no need to stress about changing how you use your time at this point. Just keep a note of it and give yourself a realistic idea of where all your time is actually going. I believe there are also apps that you can use for this, which I will link below. I first did this when I was about 16 years old on the advice of my youth pastor and mentor, and I found that it did wonders in helping me to balance my work and rest effectively. So, you have your goals and priorities clear, and you know how you're spending your time. Now it's time to take those goals and break them into manageable chunks that you can then slot into your calendar. If you struggle to slow down to rest in a healthy way, then it may be helpful to slot relaxation time into your calendar as well. I'll be honest, I originally resisted this idea, as I felt it would impose a regimented structure on my life that would make me feel constrained. But then I realised that I would rather self-impose structures onto my own life that I know will help me than continue to be enslaved by the lure of procrastination and the addiction of social media. When they are young, most good parents will impose boundaries and structures onto their children's lives. This helps them to get a full night's sleep, finish their schoolwork on time, and overall have a higher quality of life. In the same way, I believe that imposing structures onto our own lives is a way to self-parent so that we are using our time more effectively and getting the most joy that we possibly can. Writing and planning things out can also be used just as a temporary tool until you've built healthy habits and rhythms into your life naturally. I recently read on a minimalism blog that according to the National Soap and Detergent Association, if we got rid of the clutter in our homes, we would reduce our housework by about 40%. That's a lot of time to be saved just by decluttering. We spend so much time and money on possessions when that same time and money could be spent on relationships or other life goals. So go through your closet, have a good declutter, and enjoy the peace and joy that a cleaner, simpler space can bring. I believe that the secret to a slower life is a simpler life. And what better way to simplify than to reduce the amount of stuff in our homes? As fun and motivating as it can be to launch into the new year with these productivity and time-saving goals, I think it's really important to keep the why in mind. If we launch into the new year with the aim of being super productive or becoming a minimalist, it can sometimes feel like we're chasing after a lifestyle goal and forget the reason behind it, and it can sometimes end up feeling a bit empty in the end. At least that's what I've found. For myself, I try to remember the reason for all the goal setting and simplifying. By keeping in mind that I'm doing this for the purpose of cultivating a calm and rested internal space so that I can hear God's voice more clearly and love others more fully, it's all worth it in the end. This will look a little different for everyone, but whatever your why is, it's definitely worth keeping at the front of your mind. I really hope that these processes of brain dumping, goal setting and decluttering will help you to save time and feel happier in yourself, especially after the year we've just had. Before you go, make sure to like the video, subscribe and hit the notification bell, as from next week I will be starting a new slow living series in which I will be exploring the origins of the slow living movement, the pros and cons of slow living, as well as looking at some of the slow living niches that have sprung up over the last few decades. I would love to have you along for the ride, so do make sure that you tune in next Friday, and until next time, it was lovely to have you here.